Imagine not having to copy and paste information in and out of your AI chatbot. Instead, it actually talks to your business systems. That's exactly what MCP allows us to do. I'm going to show you how I turned an hour-long admin task into a 3-minute conversation and how you can do that for your own business. Hey, I'm Blake, an AI engineer based down in Christchurch, and I've helped over 15 businesses across New Zealand with AI. So if you're unsure how AI actually works, on a really basic level, it's advanced pattern recognition. It's trained on all of the information that is out there currently on the internet and all these other data sets that companies have. However, it knows nothing about you or your business. And so when we ask it to generate a report or provide us an email, it's often really generic. To solve this, we often have to provide it more context, whether it's copying in information from emails or business documentation, but then the output, we still have to copy back somewhere else. And so we end up in this loop of asking AI a question, copying out the answers, putting it somewhere in a different system, and going round and round and round. It's not integrated. So this is where MCP comes in. And you may have heard of APIs before, where it's a connection to a software system where you can send information or retrieve information. The problem was a lot of these different softwares had different implementations of their API, and so it wasn't easy in like a standard method to connect to them. So MCP is a layer on top of that, where you can kind of think of it as a USB port to your different software, where you can plug and play your ChatGPT or Claude model directly into Outlook, Gmail, Xero, whatever it may be. All businesses have some kind of management for the clients or projects, inventory, you name it. And these are all really tedious tasks to keep track of. For example, for project management, if I was meeting with a new client, I'd have to sit down and identify exactly what they are looking for. Luckily, AI meeting notes helps out with that and can completely transcribe the conversation, which is awesome. Then I'd often have a back and forth on an email chain or potentially even WhatsApp messages. Then I'd also have to go into my project management system, write up those notes of what stage it's at. But then also once it got to a point of a project proposal, I'd often have to go back to all of my different notes and systems and then build out that from scratch. And that could take almost an hour for me to do if I was doing that manually. But now AI can do it in mere minutes for me. My Claude AI chatbot is integrated with my Gmail through MCP. It's integrated with Google Drive, which has all of my meeting transcripts from Google Meet and Gemini. And it's also integrated with my Notion. And so that's for my project management and database entries. And so what this allows me to do is once I get to a point that I need a proposal for my client, I can go through and ask it, hey, based on this client and this project, go through all of my notes on all of my documents and sources, pull together a client proposal, read my Claude skill, which I will show you of how you structure out what you want it to actually do, and then generate it and put it into Notion. To get this set up in your own business or for your own personal exploration, I'd highly recommend using Claude as it's the easiest one to get set up. Once you have the desktop version installed or you're on the web browser, you can go over to this little ad and then you'll see down the bottom connectors. You can see all the ones that I currently have enabled. If you want to set them up for the first time, you'd go on to Manage Connectors, Browse Connectors, and then you can see a whole range of different ones here. So that can connect to your CRM, your graphic design software, project management, absolutely anything is in here. If, for example, it currently isn't in there, what you can do is go and add a custom connector. What you'll need to do is find an MCP server for that tool online. For example, Xero's one isn't in this Browse Connectors, but if you search up Xero MCP server, you'll see a little GitHub and there's YouTube videos out there teaching you how to set it up. And you just need to copy and paste the information in here and have it set up easily. So now what I need to do is create a skill. A skill is a set of instructions of how the AI model can operate to complete a task. For this one, we want a client proposal skill. For this YouTube demo, I'm asking it to ask me questions to help actually form the skill out of additional information. So what you do is put a whole bunch of information about you, your business, what you want it to do, then always ask it to ask you more questions to provide additional context. And I can go through and see what typically triggers you to create the proposal, what are the information sources, what's the format, all of that sort of thing. Once I was happy, I can just go just create the skill and it will create it. But obviously the more information you provide it here, the better the output is going to be. And so now what we see is that it's actually created a skill for me. I can go through and review it. If there are changes that need to be made, I go back and chat with it. Once I'm happy, I can click copy to your skills at the top right and it will save and it'll be all there for you. I'm not going to do it yet because I already have a skill for this. So now that I've gone through and signed into all the tools I want to use, I also have Notion up on my right side. This could be whatever tool you are connected to as your output. I'm using Notion. What I'll do is come into the chat window, and as a quick basic demo, I can go into my Notion, and in the demo space page, which is this demo page here, create a new database for AI project management. And so we can run that, and what we'll see, it will go through and find out what tools it has available on MCP. It will see that it has access to the Notion tool, and it will then start interrogating my information before providing out that database for me, all automatically. So again, if I wanted to go, hey, I need more details on this by providing exactly what columns were in there, I should do that right away. So we can see the first one comes up as a Notion search, so it looks through my file systems currently. The first time you set this up, you should see this allow button like it does down here. What I have set up is that for any read actions, if it goes in and pulls information from my systems, it can auto approve itself. But if it goes to write, edit, or delete, it has to have that human in the loop approval. This is really important when you are setting them up in your different systems, that if it's going to send an email, it's going to delete a database or add a new page, it's really important you verify that before trusting it completely. So we can see that's gone through, it's found the demo page. I can go through and verify the calls and the responses, and I can go allow once. And then what we'll see in here, hopefully, is that we've got an AI project management database pop up and get created. As we can see, we've got this AI project management pop up here. This is now the database. It's got a project name, AI tools, budget. If I wanted specific columns, I'd tell it to. And this created automatically just from my little chat window, which is really cool. Now what I'm going to do is pass through the next level of that prompt, which is what I'd actually use for a client proposal. So this is an example with one of Will's projects that I've been working with, which is a really cool community-based project called People in Pursuit. Basically for people going through different muscle conditions, that they can tell their story to this app. It will transcribe it, generate out a report and a bit of a story on it. And so then they can pass that on to their friends, their family members, or even new doctors without having to repeat their entire story all the time, which is really cool. So what we've pretty much said is go through my Google Drive, which it has, to find the meeting transcripts where we've talked about the project with Will. Then it's gone through my emails where he's sent me additional information or I've potentially asked more questions. It's then going to look into Notion as well to double check there's no additional context in there. Then it reads my client proposal generator skill, which I'll quickly show you how to make one like that for yourself. Then it wants to create a page. Yes, I will allow that. Then we should see project People in Pursuit pop up here. So that now popped up and we can see that it's gone through and created the database entry and a page inside of it for the actual project proposal. I can click open, I can click into the project proposal, chuck it on the fuller screen here, quickly move the camera to the side, and we can see that it's got my entire structure, executive summary, the scope of the work, a user journey flow, technical architecture, all the stuff that I put in my skill. It generated that output. It is insanely accurate, especially once you have meeting transcripts as an information source. Before then, it was a bit hit and miss, it made up information, but when you've had your exact meeting and the words both you and your client are saying, it is mind-blowing how accurate this is. From there, I'd go through, verify this, make sure everything's correct, pass that on to the client, and then it would be sweet to go. So overall, you shouldn't be copying and pasting information in and out of different systems with your AI models. You should instead be directly connecting to them through MCP. The benefit here is that full context access. AI is a prediction engine. The more information it has about you and your business, the better the outputs are going to be. There's a huge potential in time saving for your tedious admin tasks, whether it's as simple as creating a Notion database, updating your project management software, or building full client proposals. There is time saving everywhere. Another benefit I see is less context switching. If I don't have to go into Xero, then my Gmail, then my Notion, these are all different UIs I've got to navigate and remember how to use properly. If I can do it all from this one system inside of Claude, it makes that less brain switching and going around on different tasks. I'm more focused on what I'm actually doing. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you found that valuable, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you're a business looking for help, whether that's education, use case identification, or custom development in terms of AI, I've been helping out a range of different businesses across New Zealand, so do reach out. But also, if you're a young Kiwi that is looking into AI or already working in AI, I've recently started up a community called Young Kiwis in AI. There's a Discord link in the description below. We're meeting up monthly. Come along, introduce yourself to others, and network and learn from each other. Thank you very much. Have a good one.